if you've been ripped off,
I feel very cheated and conned.
but are struggling to get back your hard-earned cash,
Everything that I'd worked for was gone, basically.
help is at hand from the sheriffs.
Hello.
We're High Court enforcement.
We have an outstanding writ of control.
They're back with a brand new team, determined to get you the money you're owed.
You're wasting our time. I'm now going to call a locksmith.
Acting with the High Court's authority,
He's the one with a court writ, so he's the victim, not you.
they have the power to remove assets,
We're here to retrieve full balance, if not remove goods otherwise.
to ensure you're not shortchanged.
The sheriffs being our last saviour and hope.
Every year, sheriffs in England and Wales recover your unpaid debts totaling £100 million.
I've got my money back and now we can put this matter to bed.
Coming up,
If not more, I'm away for a headbutt you, I'm telling you. I'll headbutt you. You won't.
the sheriffs are confronted by a hostile crowd at a used car dealership that sold a customer a defective vehicle.
You spit, no. Don't touch me. Give it a rest. Don't touch me. Give it a rest. Don't touch me. Get the police down here.
And when the company responsible won't pay,
They told me to be human when I'm collecting a debt for a guy who got a faulty car.
Ben puts the sheriffs in pole position.
I found a couple of diagnostic machines here that's worth substantial money.
Interior designer Perry Mills was let down by one of his suppliers.
There were lots of excuses. I've got a problem with this. I was poorly. I'm going to go on holiday.
But the debtor still doesn't want to foot the bill.
He wants to play the hard route and he's gone through every trick he can.
And when an architect fails to pay a decorator a 5-figure sum,
OK, have you got the funds to pay it?
the sheriffs draw up their own plans to settle the debt.
Its actual original value is an £11,000 bicycle. So if we can tie that to the company, then we might be at a turning point.
It's not uncommon for enforcement agents to experience aggression from disgruntled debtors. But occasionally, they encounter threatening behaviour for no apparent reason. This morning, Ben Dyram and Miles Whitworth are in Bradford.
So we're off to Oak Motors Limited. We're attending today for £8,483. It's for a private individual, so I would imagine it'll be a vehicle, possibly faulty, something along that lines.
The money is owed to a customer who paid £5,500 for a second-hand car, but it broke down hours after he bought it due to a fault with one of the engine's cylinders. The customer says Oak Motors Limited in Bradford wouldn't acknowledge the issues with the vehicle and became abusive. With a new baby on the way, the customer had to take out a loan to buy a new car, leaving him severely in debt and with no choice but to take Oak Motors Limited to court. The customer won, but several months on, Oak Motors still haven't paid him a penny.
It's for quite a large amount, so if payment isn't forthcoming, then there is some vehicles of substantial value there, which we could take control of. Quite often you'll attend a business of this type and they'll deny that they are trading. So we've done the online checks, we've got the proof that they are. I reckon it's in oh, that looks interesting, this.
What looks like a spotter stationed outside the debtor's premises already has Ben and Miles on their guard.
Park it down here. Sunny now. It's lovely. Sun is shining in Bradford. Oh, we've got an audience already, Matt. Excellent. Already on the phone. We've got a few people outside. Looks like they might be locking the gate up. See when we get up there. Yeah, gate's getting locked up. They're just driving off. So do you lock it, lads, yeah?
I'm here for 5 car.
Are you?
Yeah.
Just get the locksmith there. Have a word. Tap. Yeah, so it was locked as we were walking up there. Could hear them putting the chain round. They were seeing us, so give them a minute, see if they're going to open up again. Do you work here? No. You're not seeing you coming out, lads, eh? Just leave them.
With the men claiming they don't work for Oak Motors, the sheriffs wait to see if anyone inside the premises will come to the gate to let them in. But before long, another man pulls up.
All right, mate? You work here or own it? Do you own it? Work here?
Never mind, mate. Stop being nosy.
I ain't being nosy, mate. I'm just asking a straightforward question.
I don't even know you, so you shouldn't be talking.
I don't matter, mate.
Although Ben's happy to walk away, the man wants to continue the conversation.
Sorry, what was that again?
I asked you, mate. I said, do you...
Talk to my face. Don't talk to my face, talk to my hand. Okay?
I don't work like that.
You don't work with me, I don't work with you.
Well, what's the problem, buddy? So what's your right? What's the problem, then?
What's the problem? What's the problem? Whoa! Whoa, what's the problem? I'm just asking, what's the problem? Listen, I've come here to view a car.
That's
fine.
Are
you coming to help me? If not, more out of my way before I headbutt you, I'm telling you. Headbutt you.
You won't.
You won't.
You won't. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back out of my space.
Yeah, you get on my space, you get on my...
Stand back out. Stand back out.
Don't you...
Stand out of my space.
Don't touch me.
You spit no...
Don't touch me.
Give it a rest.
Don't touch me.
Give it a rest.
Don't touch me.
Get the police down here. Get the police down here.
Don't touch me.
We'll get the police.
No.
You want to calm down? You're spitting all over us, mate.
Yeah, but look, I've come to buy a car. Are you helping me or not?
Why am I going to help you buy a car?
Don't touch me car like that then.
Punch your car. Never touch your car. Not touched your car.
You just pushed me, didn't you? You pushed me, didn't you?
You were right in my face.
Then I pushed you back. So that's
spitting all over me. Let's get the police down here, mate.
Later, with the sheriffs grossly outnumbered,
Get some lads down.
Is that a threat, like?
will they be able to get the customer the thousands of pounds they're owed?
Are these guys with you?
Because if they're not, I'm not going to discuss it, like.
It's proving quite difficult. We're not getting very far.
Few of us can afford to be left out of pocket. If you've been let down by faulty goods or substandard services and are struggling to get your money back, you can use the county courts to recover your hard-earned cash. Around 2 million claims are made every year in England and Wales and can be filed by post or online for a small fee. Both parties in the case will be asked to submit evidence, and you may have to attend a court hearing. If you win your case, a county court judgment or CCJ will be issued against the debtor. If they still don't pay, it's time to call the sheriffs. It's early morning in the West Midlands. Enforcement agents Luke Peacock and Grant Bailey are in pursuit of a debt owed by a manufacturing business.
This morning we're in Birmingham, visiting the Plating Group Limited. We're looking at collecting in the region of £5,000. We believe the company operates as a gold plating company and sells accessories such as phone cases, some jewellery that are gold plated.
The debt is owed to Oak Tree Interiors, founded nearly 30 years ago by Perry Mills. It specialises in office furnishing and interiors.
Our business activities range from refurbishing existing commercial space to designing and fitting out empty brand new spaces for clients to move into, and it encompasses all the disciplines from air conditioning, lighting, power, walls, carpet and all the furniture and pretty things like decorations and cushions and whatever's needed.
Perry has managed to build up a loyal customer base, which he puts down to the company's commitment to providing a reliable service.
Reputation is key, and it's all about delivery, confidence of delivery.
One of Oak Tree's recent projects was for a client who was moving into a brand new office block, which needed fitting out.
Everything was quite standard for us: walls, flooring, decorations, furniture, nothing out of the ordinary, except This client, who I have to say is the first in 30 years to actually ask for all the handles and anything metal, the accessories, should be gold plated. And that was quite an unusual request, but it was kind of fun because we thought, well, that would be different.
Perry's team immediately set about finding a suitable subcontractor to carry out the work.
The gold plating was large door handles and some door closers and basically their large corporate sign. So there's quite a lot of elements to gold plate. We had, I think, 6 or 7 potential candidates, and we decided to pick this company in the Midlands. They actually weren't the cheapest, but I think they offered to do it in the quickest time, and my client was on the hurry up. And I understand that. Why wouldn't he want to move into his new office?
The items were manufactured elsewhere before being sent on to the Plating Group Limited for finishing. They promised the work would be completed in around 7 to 10 days.
And after about sort of 7 to 10 days, we just gave them a nudge. How's things doing? Got the delivery date for us. And then we were given a few, oh, we're nearly there. We'll be there next week. And it's okay, fine.
But when 3 weeks passed with no sign of the completed goods being returned, Perry began to get concerned.
I upped the ante and the rhetoric and started to communicate a little bit more forcibly, actually, and to say, come on, you know, we've got obligations to our clients. We will not let them down, come what may. And you really need to start delivering this now, otherwise it's going to affect our overall completion date. And then the communication started to dissipate. Texts, phone calls were never answered. When we did get communication, there were lots of excuses. I've got a problem with this, I was poorly, I'm going to go on holiday, I've got some personal problems. And then there's some problems with the materials we've given him. You know, they've lost them, they've broken them, they're going to have them repaired. And you just think all of these things, this is becoming a catastrophe. And you think, actually, something's afoot here.
Eventually, the gold-plated fittings were delivered, but the work was not what Perry had expected.
It wasn't complete, there were items missing, but more importantly, what we had was substandard, it was patchy, it wasn't even, so that's when the real alarm bell started.
With the project now past its deadline, Perry took drastic action.
I just couldn't run the risk of overrunning anymore, so I decided to bite the bullet and refabricate all of the materials that we gave him to gold plate. We found another gold plating company down in Surrey, in fact, who couldn't have been nicer, turned the thing around in 2 to 3 days, perfect condition, client's happy, but of course we're £4,000 out of pocket.
Having now paid to get the materials manufactured twice, Perry wanted to recover his costs.
It's not even just the money, it's the disappointment that we've failed in some way to deliver what we should be delivering, and that annoys me. So for the first time, actually in 30 years, I decided to take legal action against one of the suppliers that failed us.
Perry took the supplier to court and won when the company didn't enter a defence. But the judgment's never been paid, so now Perry's turned to the sheriffs.
I happened to have been watching a programme about the sheriffs, and I thought I'd give them a try, frankly, so I've decided to leave it to them and wait and see what the outcome's going to be.
In Birmingham, Luke and Grant are approaching the Plating Group's address.
I believe we're in this one here.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's go.
What unit are we looking for?
Unit 2. Yeah. This ain't looking good. Mind you, it could be in here.
The unit might not look like much from the outside.
Hello? Are you Unit 2? Unit 2? Yeah? Alright, perfect.
But they are in the right place, and soon find an office with someone inside.
My name's Mr. Peacock. Okay. I'm colleague Mr. Bailey here. We're High Court Enforcement Agents.
Yep.
Are you the director?
No, I'm not.
Do you have contact with him at all?
I might be able to get hold of him.
I'm here to execute a writ today against the company.
Who wrong?
Oak Tree Interiors Limited.
Oh, well, I've started paying them back and I can show you.
How much have you paid them already?
We paid them 200 and something so far.
Okay. It still won't change the predicament we're in because they total in excess of £5,000. And we're here to collect the full balance.
We haven't got that kind of it, so
It sounds as though the company may struggle to pay the bill, but one way or another, it needs to be settled today.
The director isn't actually on site. The lady in the office has said that he's took his 2 days off, quite conveniently when we arrive. They've also made a £250 payment to the claimant in the last month, so they kind of were willing to pay, but we believe the claimant wanted their money quicker, so that's the reason why they've uplifted it to the High Court and brought us here.
Do you want me to pass you over to the enforcement officer? OK, just 1 moment.
Hello? Yes, thank you.
It's the company director. He says he's paying off the debt in instalments and thought that was enough to satisfy the county court judgment.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, unless you've gone to court and the court have said, this is how this case is going to work by you paying X amount every month, you could have been paying the claimant for 6 months, £100 a month, and all of a sudden they go, actually, we want the money in full. The claimant's well within their rights still to take it through to the High Court.
Unless the court says otherwise, a successful claimant is entitled to all their money at once. But the director says he doesn't have the funds. Instead, he offers to pay half today and increase his instalments.
Unfortunately, we've got enough assets here to cover the balance. So it is full balance or we have to take stuff.
Desperate to avoid full payment, the man is looking for any other way out.
You can, but it doesn't happen that easily. It'll probably cost you more to shut the company down than it will to actually pay the balance. Well, if you declare yourself bankrupt, you're shooting yourself in the foot because the company's still active. OK, thanks very much. Bye-bye. He wants to play the hard route. He's gone through every trick he can. He wants us to set an arrangement. We've told him we can't set an arrangement. He's talked about folding the company. The end of the phone call is he's going to speak to the claimant and then come back to us. So currently we're in a position where he's refused to pay, basically. So we'll now take this case to the next stage, start listing assets and see where we go from there.
Later, as the company director continues to stall, can the sheriffs convince him to come up with Perry's money?
It's not about possibilities, practicalities or possibilities. It's about what we're instructed to do.
In Bradford, Ben and Miles are still trying to get into the premises of Oak Motors Limited, a car dealership who owes over £5,500 to a customer who was sold a faulty car. The gates to the business are locked, and the sheriffs have been verbally abused by an angry man outside.
Don't touch me! Give it a rest. Don't touch me! Give it a rest. Don't touch me!
Get the police down here. Spitting in my face, sir.
What is...
Thankfully, the man now seems to be backing off.
Lads, here.
Can we speak to someone, please?
But his departure does not bring an end to the hostility. As our camera operator calls the police, the other group of men circle the sheriffs.
You are?
We get some lads down.
Are we? Is that a threat, like?
It's a dangerous place to live, especially when you're by yourself.
On your own, not good.
Finally, someone from inside the garage comes to the gate.
Hey, boys.
Are you Oak Motors, mate? Are you Oak Motors, yeah? I'm not Motors, no. Any of you?
Yeah.
Well,
We need to speak to someone from Oak Motors.
we're here with a High Court writ.
Are these guys with you?
Because if they're not, I'm not going to discuss it, like. So they either back off or I'm not discussing it with you.
There's just a bit too many people, that's all, like. We just want to speak to you guys, that's all right. So you wanting to know what it's regarding? We're here to collect for £8,483.
For what? You can't just go around collecting money around.
Well,
No, we can. You would have had a judgment for.
Yeah, you've had notices of enforcement.
Are you the lad I need to speak to who's most high up, who will probably know?
We just work here.
But it's yourselves, yeah? We are speaking to the right people, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
The men head back inside, promising to get hold of somebody more senior. Just as backup arrives.
Hey lads, thanks for coming so quickly. It's kind of dispersed now. It was kicking off for a little bit, but it's calmed down now.
right in our face, making threats, basically spitting all over us, close up, you know. Not happy about it at all. No, he drove off.
He's drove off now. He's got his reg, yeah.
They say they don't know him, but again, we're only guessing, aren't we? You know what it's like.
Now under the careful watch of the police, the garage workers hand Ben a phone.
Hello, mate, how are you? Who am I speaking to, please? Are you the owner of Oak Motors, Mr. Iqbal?
Mr. Iqbal says he is.
There's myself and the colleagues down here today with a High Court writ, and we're here at the moment for £8,438.55.
The debtor says he doesn't have the money. He also says none of the cars here belong to Oak Motors Limited and offers to bring paperwork to prove it down to the yard tomorrow.
No, it won't be tomorrow, mate. We aren't leaving without it being resolved.
It's proving quite difficult to talk to him. We're not getting very far so far, but we'll stick about. The police are happy to stick about with us. It might end up being a pay half now and then pay so much a week payment plan, just to make it a bit easier for him, so we don't really be here all night either. And now the police are here, we don't want to hold them up too much.
With Mr. Iqbal acknowledging the debt is his, Ben hopes that a bit of pressure may bring him to the negotiating table.
If it's not paid, mate, the writ does entitle us to take control and remove goods to cover the outstanding debt. We have vehicles here that was advertised on your website, so we are in a position to remove those goods. If we do remove it, goes up to £10,500.
The tactic does result in an offer of payment.
He's offered 500 quid.
But not quite what Ben was hoping for.
No good.
With Mr. Iqbal claiming he's desperately short of cash, Miles tries a different tack.
£2.5 grand today, and then it'd be around about £1,000 a week. Would you be able to afford that? Right, Ben, we're accepting a payment plan.
Mr. Iqbal makes a bank transfer. And a job that got off to a bumpy start ends in a cordial agreement.
Once we went inside, after everything had calmed down after the initial fracas, we managed to get a payment of £2,500 today and £822 a week thereafter to clear the balance.
There's still quite a lot to pay, but it's better than going in there walking out with nothing.
Thanks for your help. Cheers. See ya.
Later, when Oak Motors failed to keep up their payment plan, the sheriffs are back.
We're here today for the outstanding balance that you've decided upon yourselves not to pay.
More determined than ever to get the customer the money he's owed.
You need to see the invoices of the goods being transferred over. That TV, that desk, that computer, that cabinet, that Epson printer.
If you've won a county court judgment but are still out of pocket because it hasn't been paid, for £66 you can get the case transferred up to the High Court, which will issue a writ for enforcement by the sheriffs.
Can you please come to the door?
Here with the High Court writ today.
We will be executing today, if not removing goods.
These High Court awards have to be paid, and the sheriffs have unique legal powers to ensure you get the money you're owed.
Here regarding a High Court writ of control.
We can't get off the site today without full payment.
If you shut the door, us will get locked up here. Why are you preventing us access?
And there's no limit on the size of debt they can pursue.
£8,691.22p.
£40,386.
You can just do the bank transfer.
If they're successful, they'll recover your money and costs from the debtor.
Brilliant. Cheers, thank you.
As well as their own fees, which are set by the government.
We'll have to take the case to the next stage, and we'll have to get removal trucks here to remove your goods.
If the sheriffs can't get your money, you'll be asked to pay another £90 to cover their costs. It's late morning in West Yorkshire. Enforcement agents Ben and Miles are back on their home turf.
Today we're off to Acropolis Design Limited. It's just outside Wakefield. A small business, we believe, like architectural design and stuff. The claimant's a decorating company, so it's business-to-business debt. So it's more than likely for work that's been carried out and not been paid for. We're after just over £14,000, so it's quite a substantial amount of money.
If, as suspected, the enforcement address they've been supplied is for an architect's office, then finding assets to secure a debt of this size may be difficult.
We'll more than likely have to do a bit of digging on this job, obtain access to the bank accounts and stuff, see what funds I have available.
Acropolis.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Acropolis design. Good.
The boss isn't here, so a staff member gets him on the phone.
Hello. I'm from the Hattie Court. I'm here regarding debt outstanding of £14,136 and 69 pence. We need that solving today, if that's possible.
The director says he hasn't got anything like £14,000.
Well, so I'm going to leave it with you for half an hour. You take a look at your bank and see what you can pay today. I'm going to have a look around the premises. Right.
Meanwhile, Ben's looking through some paperwork to see if he can get a better idea of the company's financial position.
Invoices are totaling about £8,000 within the last sort of 10 days. So some of these are huge contracts, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's one there, the contract itself's worth £150,000. That's only a month old.
Yet despite the company's healthy-looking invoices,
hello,
when the director calls back,
hi,
he says he's only been able to raise £2,500, less than a fifth of the amount owed to the decorators.
For us to leave today, it's going to have to be a bit more than that. Can you borrow it? Otherwise, goods may be removed for storage and sale.
The debtor says he won't be able to come up with any more money, leaving the sheriffs to contemplate their next move.
Asset-wise, within the building, there's not a huge amount of money's worth. £2,000 or £3,000 worth, maybe in computers, something like that. But I've looked through invoices and stuff there, and some of the contracts in there I've seen myself worth in the region of £500,000 to £600,000. So hopefully, you know, we'll stick it out and get a result here.
Ben hasn't yet given up on finding some meaningful assets, and some bicycles in the staff kitchen have caught his eye.
The bicycles here belong to the director of the company. However, they may well be personal items. We're here for a business debt. But I'm going to do a little bit of digging because that particular bicycle there, the carbon fibre one, is retailing at, in fact, that's on sale. Its actual original value is an £11,000 bicycle. So if we can tie that to the company, then we might be at a turning point.
It's a long shot. The chances that the bicycle was bought by the company rather than the director personally are slim, and the only way to prove it would be to find the receipt.
Might take some time. I might be a little thinner by the end. It's going to take that long to find, but I'm going to have a look because the bicycle is worth an awful lot of money.
He's clutching on straws. I don't think he'll find it.
No.
Not today, anyway. You get yourself comfy and have a look. Don't hurt those knees anymore. Find it, I'll be impressed.
Ben is still working his way through the first bag of receipts.
Yeah.
When the director returns,
Yeah, sure.
he asks our camera operator to leave. He says he wants to get the matter resolved, but can't afford to pay it in one go. With few assets worth removing, the sheriff's hopes of getting the decorating company the money they're owed are getting slimmer by the second.
You know, we're after a balance of over £14,000. You've got to appreciate these smaller companies. Cash flow can be irregular. They rely on other businesses paying them
So if we do 2.5 today, what sort of arrangement can we come to? If you did £2 a month, it would be 6-7 months, it would be a bit too long. Could we make it £3 a month? Excellent. I'll give you the bank details here to pay that 2.5 now.
An arrangement of £3,000 a month is agreed, and the initial down payment of £2,500 is made by bank transfer.
Any problems, do give me a ring. Cheers.
Bye-bye, take care now.
Against the odds, the sheriffs have managed to leave with a part payment and a payment plan for the rest.
We got a result, although not the full payment. On the day, I think that's what we expected, somewhere in that region, so we're happy enough with that.
Probably the best result we could have got on a day without stripping them of everything they had and putting them out of business, which wouldn't have been any good for the claimant or the employees of the company.
Thanks to the sheriffs, the decorators should finally be getting the money they're owed. In Birmingham, Luke and Grant are at the Plating Group Limited, who owe thousands of pounds to interior designer Perry Mills.
Unfortunately, it's full balance or we have to take stuff.
The company director doesn't want to settle the bill today, so the sheriffs are now on the hunt for assets.
So where is the main production?
All the tankings around there, acids and everything around, so be very careful.
Hazardous chemicals would be expensive to remove and wouldn't fetch much at auction. But some of the other equipment here is of interest.
We've got polishing equipment in there, which is good leverage. Without that polishing equipment, they ain't getting this so shiny.
Luke and Grant are hoping the threat of vital machinery being removed will put pressure on the company to pay.
We've managed to get the keys for the forklift, which is one of the biggest assets. The forklift itself may not actually be that valuable at public auction. It's going to be more valuable to the company because it's going to cost a lot of money to replace.
With several items chalked up, the sheriffs are confident they have everything they need.
It's looking pretty positive at the moment with regards to the amount of goods we have here. Although the items that have been made for each individual customer aren't of any significant value to us, the machinery they use to actually make the items, what's going to cover the debt. So today it will be full payment or removal of goods. One way or another we'll have resolution for the claimant.
The director, however, has other ideas.
Hello?
And is still talking about setting up a payment plan.
No, it'll be the full balance today or it will be removal of goods. Everything, basically.
It's not unusual for debtors who claim they don't have the funds to find the money when the pressure's on, so Luke is standing firm.
Well, we are giving you a short time to pay the balance. It's not about possibilities, practicalities or possibilities. It's about what we're instructed to do. The account number is 0372.
Looks like we're getting paid.
Lovely. OK, no problem at all. It seems like he's exhausted all of his options to actually try and get out of paying this today. So he's told me he's near the bank and full payment should be coming through shortly.
Half an hour later, the balance appears in the sheriff's account.
Receipt. All done. Thank you very much. Take care, all the best.
Their refusal to accept a payment plan has paid off.
Ultimately, the problems we face when we do set arrangements is if they fail, we're then back. So the best outcome was reached.
For Perry Mills of Oak Tree Interiors Limited, the wait to get his money back is finally over.
So an email's just landed from the sheriffs to say they've made their visit and been successful, and the chap's paid up in full, I might add, which I wasn't expecting, frankly, and I'm really, really pleased that we've got a closure to the whole thing. And at the end of the day, justice has been served, and I'm really pleased about that.
This morning, enforcement agents Ben and Miles are back on familiar ground. They're in Bradford to revisit a car dealership who still owes money to a customer after selling him a faulty car.
Okay, so we're off to Oak Motors in Bradford. We're going back with the same High Court writ. They've stopped paying the arrangement they had with us, and they've ceased communication. I mean, Miles has been regularly in contact with them up to a few weeks ago, and now they just will not make contact with us at all. So the remaining balance is just over £5,000. It's quite a substantial amount of money. So we're returning today to try and collect the balance.
Last time Ben and Miles visited Oak Motors in Bradford, they were approached outside by a man who became irate and threatening towards them.
Don't you
my space!
Don't touch me!
You spit no.
Don't touch me!
Give it a rest!
Don't touch me!
Give it a rest!
Don't touch me!
So they're hoping for a less eventful visit today.
Locked.
There's no one in the office right now, but by the look of the cars for sale, it appears they're still in business.
Still exactly the same. Just gonna speak to him down at the bottom.
But above the door, Ben spots a worrying sign.
They changed the name of the garage on the signage.
Since Ben and Miles last visited this address in Bradford, Oak Motors Limited is now displaying the name Sandy Lane Garage Limited, not to be confused with other businesses with the same names. But there is one thing that is familiar.
Number on the banner there, that was the number we had for Oak Motors. So we believe they're still trading from here.
With a customer still thousands of pounds out of pocket, Ben and Miles are determined not to leave empty-handed. So give the number a call.
Hello there. Hello there, mate. I'm just wondering if you're open today.
And they're in luck.
I'm here with a High Court writ against Oak Motors Limited, so we're here today for the outstanding balance that you've decided upon yourselves not to pay.
The man says they're not Oak Motors Limited, but Sandy Lane Garage Limited.
Well, I phoned a number that was affiliated to Oak Motors and you've answered.
The man is adamant he's nothing to do with Oak Motors, but Ben's not convinced he's being told the whole story.
We're down here today. We're here with the intention to collect the balance. We want back in the office to decide that for ourselves. Right, so what's your name, just so I know who I'm speaking to?
The man is refusing to give his name.
All right, thank you.
But Ben has the result he wanted.
Well, he says he's coming down in half an hour. What do you reckon? Think he's at the show?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No.
No.
But 35 minutes later, a car pulls up.
Oak Motors, Bradford.
Straight away, our camera operator is asked to leave.
Can we go inside?
We do have to go inside, Paul.
Just need to have a look about. See if there's anything built
like we did last time.
Go inside, we'll sort it.
Sandy Lane, that's what you're telling us, yeah?
So all this contact I've had with Oak Motors for all this time, talking about payment, it's the same number on your sign outside.
Yeah, they claim that they're nothing to do with Oak Motors Limited. However, every one of them was here upon our first visit. They claim that they're working for the new company, so we'll just keep putting a bit of pressure on and see where we go.
The hunt now begins for evidence to link the assets on site to the debtor.
I want to see all the invoices for every single car that was transferred over. Every car that was in the garage and the forecourt of when it transferred from Oak Motors to Sandy Lane Garage.
The men say all of Oak Motors' assets have been transferred to the new business and that the sheriff's search will be fruitless.
Oak Motors at this address, so I've got the rights to be in here and search it.
And they're unhappy about the sheriff's rifling through the office.
You told me to be human when I'm collecting a debt for a guy who got a faulty car. I'm being real. I'm being real. I'm being real. I am being real. I need to see the invoices of the goods being transferred over. That TV, that desk, that computer, that cabinet, that Epson printer.
Eventually, the men produce documentation for the vehicles and all the other equipment in the office, meaning the most lucrative assets are seemingly untouchable.
They've come up with invoices for the goods inside, the sofas, the desks, the computers, the printers. They've actually got invoices from Oak Motors saying that they paid for that, even the camera system that they paid a few grand for. Everything else is kind of locked down to the new company.
But back inside,
Where's the invoice for the sale of this?
Ben has made what could be a crucial discovery: a pair of expensive vehicle diagnostic machines.
Snap on one.
What?
Plug it in your car.
Where's the transfer of the goods from Oak Motors to Sandy Lane Garage?
The man says he doesn't have a receipt for them.
Well, you're not getting it though, are you? Unless you show us the invoice that you sold it to.
Yeah. So it's Oak Motors property. Exactly. So we have to take it. One's worth about £1.5 grand and one's worth
a few £100. I found a couple of diagnostic machines here that's worth substantial money. The diagnostic machines are very important for a garage. They use them on modern day cars. They plug them in and it tells them all the faults on that vehicle. They get updated. It's difficult to say what value is on these, but I would imagine maybe the larger one here could be worth in the region of maybe £1,000 to us. The smaller one, it might be a cheaper brand, but it should be worth a few £100. It looks like it's brand new.
With the men in the office still adamant they're not responsible for Oak Motors' debt,
Unless you want to cough up some money and then we won't have to take it to desk.
Ben and Miles seize the diagnostic machines.
You're all right. Right, see you later, lads. Right, cheers.
If Oak Motors don't come forward and pay the debt, Ben and Miles are confident today's seizure will fetch a worthwhile amount at public auction to get the customer more of his money back.
Hi there.
So Ben's calling to let him know the good news.
We've removed a couple of diagnostic machines which will go to auction unless they pay in the meantime.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, we'll get a bit more money out of it for you.
Oh, thank you so much for that. It means a lot.
Brilliant. Take care.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, we aren't only just knocking on doors of businesses, we are collecting on behalf of people, and there's always a story behind what we do. This is a genuine man who has spent some of his hard-earned money on a vehicle which he thought was, you know, of good quality. And the business that sold him it, you know, the debtor, they've done nothing to resolve the issues he had. The car was a dud, basically. We've got a result in the end. We've got goods to sell at auction, and it'll go towards getting him most of his money back.
Oak Motors Limited didn't come forward to pay off the debt, so the diagnostic machines were sold at public auction. Following filming, Acropolis Design Limited made one further payment of £3,000 and then went into liquidation. The decorators will now join a list of creditors to recoup the remaining money they're owed.